Okay, Travis Wing Goodsell. I finally got around to my notifications on YouTube. It had gone up to 5. It was the 5th one that I'm talking about today. It was a Mormon woman who replied to a comment that I had made to an ex-Mormon on her channel, and it was about how I was jealous that after 7 hours she had 119 likes and no thumbs down at that point. And so I said, how do you do it? You know, and I'm jealous. And so this Mormon girl thinks she's got to step in and exert her influence. So yes, Mormons, you know I'm critical because your church is wrong. And when I say that your church is wrong and I'm critical about the church, it is inappropriate. It is wrong for you to attack me. It's that simple. I'm not calling you names other than stupid, but it's based on the facts and the evidence. It's not just throwing out an emotion because of some hurt feelings that I've gotten. It's because I've done the research. I've obtained the facts. I've obtained the evidence. So Mormons don't understand this. And it's a common thing when you don't do your research that you attack those who are critical of your beliefs. Remember, beliefs are not knowledge. They're just beliefs. You have to produce the results of those words that you believe in. If you don't produce the results, you'll never know. And Mormons never know. And Raquel on this other ex-Mormon's channel thought that she could try to silence me. And she did it sort of in a reverse psychology method. And it's an abusive reverse psychology, saying that we, and she was speaking for all Mormons, when I had already commented indicating that there are Mormons who are attacking me. And so here she is saying, we Mormons don't, I can't remember the word, but ban freedom of speech. And she's clueless as to what she just said by doing that. It's just hilarious. Yes, Mormons, you're stupid. You don't see it. You act out from emotion because you have no knowledge. And you make dumber mistakes. You dig a bigger pit for yourself. And so, are you still not getting it, Mormons? Do you not understand why what she said was wrong? You know, you're not free to speak. That's what everybody's talking about in the news. Oh, well, white supremacists, they need freedom of speech too. And I guess if they want to say that blacks should be hung and murdered and that they need to be enslaved again and that whites should dominate the earth, that's their right to speak because in America we have freedom of speech. No! You guys have missed the whole point. We are not free to speak whatever we want. We are free to speak about freedom for all. We are not free to speak about taking away freedom from others. We are not free to speak about denying people rights to life, liberty, and property. That's why trolling on social media is a crime because you're denying people their freedom. You're bullying them. That's hate speech. A thumbs down is hate speech. Now, if it wasn't for a person, if it was for an item, a product that is sold, like on Amazon, they want you to rate the item. And sometimes they want you to rate the service, and that doesn't make any sense. Who cares about the service? But the item, I will rate the item. I have no problem with that. It's an object. It's her feelings will not get hurt. And so, yeah, but with people, you can't put a dislike for a person. And they really shouldn't have like either, because you've got views. That's enough to say, oh, okay, well, this many people viewed this video of mine. Great, okay, wonderful. My website's that way. There is no likes or thumbs down on my website posts. So, I just look at the previous day's views and, okay, great. So the thing I posted about was a big success, or it wasn't. And I know what interests people as a result. And so, yes, on my website, everybody wants to see what I have to say about our government. And of course, I'm able to put some great pictures to accompany it. And whereas here on the video, all you have is me to look at. Occasionally I used to do pictures and would do a narration over the pictures. And so I only do a few of those nowadays. Yeah, I figured out thumbnails finally, and so I'm able to put thumbnails, and that's doing well to attract more people. But for the most part, nobody cares on my YouTube channel about government topics. They want the Mormon goods, and I have subscribers who are very upset with Joseph Smith Mormonism, and so they're not really understanding what I'm trying to say on my videos, and whatever. But yeah, the focus is Brigham. He's the problem. He's the source. He's the cause. You don't. It's like a doctor. You go to a doctor because you fell off the roof. You don't want him to sit you down in a chair and talk about your feelings for an hour and then say, okay, your time's up for this week. We'll schedule you for next week, and that'll be $200. And oh yeah, here's a prescription for this particular pharmaceutical company who's giving me a kickback for this one particular drug that probably won't do anything for you, but it'll make you feel good. And it'll cost you a lot of extra money because your insurance doesn't pay for all of it. That happens in psychiatry. And they have no problem doing that in psychiatry. They're not real doctors. But medical doctors, you would be horrified, especially if you're still limping out of the hospital. So, yeah, you want to go to the core. You want to find the cause. So, the cause of Mormons today is not with the current church leaders. What? Yes, ex-Mormons don't attack the current leaders except for the things that they do in current time. And Mormons, what they do in current time, like the church, forced the Utah legislature to overturn the vote of the people of Utah to have medical marijuana for people with seizures. Yes, you can attack the church for that. But the sole cause of why the church did this and other problems of the church today all goes back to Brigham Young. He's the malady. He's the one that murdered Joseph Smith. He's the one that altered the doctrine, created a new God, murdered people. And had polygamy, banned blacks as racist. And yeah, he's the cause. And so, yes, in dealing with the Book of Abraham, Brigham Young is not a part of that because he didn't know how to translate Egyptian and did nothing with it. And so, as a supposed seer of the Lord who has the ability to translate ancient records, he did none of it. That's another cause of why Brigham Young is not the Lord's chosen. Because lots of the Egyptian documents have sprung forth since Joseph Smith and the Joseph Smith Papyri. And so, you know, that's the one thing that you can go to Joseph Smith as the cause, is whether or not he translated the Book of Abraham correctly, and the Book of Mormon. And so, yes, I am full in harmony of blaming Joseph Smith for plagiarizing the Book of Mormon and deceiving people about it being about a history of the American Indians. But you're not listening to all that I'm saying, because I've found out through my research that there's something else going on, and it has to do with a warning for America. And that's, you know, the threat to America is similar to the Gadianton robber threat to the Nephites. The Nephites are parallel connections with us in America in the latter days, not in Joseph's day, the latter days. And so the Gadianton robbers, Joseph is warning us today of an attempt to put a king on the throne of the United States government, destroy the Constitution by altering the laws, and allow for criminal behavior, not just for the government leaders, but for business, and thus permeate through society. Because, you know, if the only way you're going to survive is to steal and commit crime, you know, are you going to lay down and die, or are you going to commit crime in order to survive? You know, les miserables. So that's what they do. They get compromat on you. That's the Russian term that's been thrown around in the news lately, because Russians have compromat on Trump. And Trump is compromised as president. And everybody in government is compromised when they take bribe money from lobbyists. And so Mormons are not catching on. The church gets compromat on you. They force you to pay money to them. And if you don't pay them the money through tithing, as they call it, they can take away your temple recommend. They can punish you. That's compromat. And Mormons don't get that. They don't see it as anything wrong. They say, oh, the Lord expects it of his people. No. Go back and read Malachi again. Where does tithing go to? The storehouse. What is the storehouse today? The bishop's storehouse. Tithing is supposed to go towards welfare. It is not to go towards building of temples, building of churches, publishing of books. Book of Mormons. But Mormons don't catch this. Why? Because they don't study. And so when people like me come out and are critical of the church for legitimate reasons, like I said, Malachi, a prophet of the Lord in the Old Testament. And Mormons come at me. They put the thumbs down. They threaten my life. They throw stones, metaphoric stones at me, just like the Nephites did to Samuel the Lamanite. They lock me up for 6 years of my life because they think I'm a threat to them And yes, I am a threat to them because they're corrupt. Just like Abinadi. So, come on, Mormons. You claim to love the Book of Mormon. You claim to know that it is true. But you're not making the connection. You're not seeing that you are like the Nephites throwing stones at people who are critical of the church, just like Samuel the Lamanite was. Where was Zarahemla? It was the capital of the Nephites. Where's the capital of the Mormons? Salt Lake City. Where am I? Salt Lake City. You were told Salt Lake City would be the most wicked city on the earth. That was the prophecy. Heber C. Kimball. That was his prophecy. Technically, I don't give much credit to Heber C. Kimball because he was best buddies with Brigham Young. But he was right. I wouldn't call it a prophecy because Salt Lake City was corrupt from the beginning. Because Brigham Young was there. He established it. So, come on, Mormons. You can't attack me with your emotional response because I've been critical of what you only have as a belief. You don't have knowledge because the church tells you they give the money to the temples, to the churches, to the making of books, Book of Mormons. They have to say that now in the bishop's tithing settlement at the end of the year. So you've already heard it this month. You've gone in, you've seen your bishop, and you said, yes, I've paid a full tithe. And then the bishop says, okay, I have to read this to you from the First Presidency, and so that you know where the money goes. And they tell you it goes towards temples, churches, and the publications of Book of Mormons. Last year, I, as the secretary in the Elders Quorum, my Elders Quorum president wanted me to attend the bishop's committee meeting, council meeting, whatever they call it, ward council, I guess. And so the bishop was asking all of us in that meeting what scripture should he use, or what message should he add to the tithing settlement. And so I said, oh, well, Malachi would be a perfect one. It is. That's what it's supposed to be about. And so, yes, he did it. And because when I went in for my tithing settlement with the wife, I still had it. Well, no, she was on her way out. Because, yeah, anyway, that's another story. And so, yeah, and so he brought it up. And he doesn't get it. The bishop didn't get it. And Mormons don't get it. Bring ye your tithes into the storehouse. Because he separates it in the previous verse. Tithes and offerings. But then says, bring ye all your tithes into the Lord's storehouse. Not the other offerings, the tithes. The other offerings have a different function and use. So, yeah. I mean, it's that simple, Mormons. And you may say, well, that's just a petty thing. That's no big deal. They have fast offerings for the welfare. But they don't punish you for not giving a full fast. It's tithing settlement, not fast offering settlement. See, we're supposed to be a church, remember? Feeding the hungry, clothing the naked. Ring any bells? That's part of the baptismal covenant. And so Yes, that's a horrible thing. And I thought that would be the big thing for Mormons that would finally convince Mormons to leave, that the church is not taking care of the poor. They give out less than 1% every year to help the poor. The rest of it is all profit. Not profit. Economic profit. So, Mormons, stop abusing people who are pointing out facts and evidence to you. You call them critics. That's technically not a bad word. It just means that they find that there's something wrong with how your organization functions. It's that simple. We're not bad people. We're not wanting to destroy you personally. We want to convert you away from Mormonism. That's supposed to be a good thing. Remember, you do it to other people when you go on missions and when you talk to your non-Mormon friends and relatives. You're trying to convert them away from their beliefs into Mormonism. And so I have learned for myself that Mormonism is not true. Remember when Joseph Smith? I have learned for myself that Presbyterianism is not true. And then he goes and joins the Methodist Church, and then is excommunicated from the Methodist Church because of his what they called witchcraft. Looking into the hat with 2 stones in it, claiming to get revelations on where gold and silver is. Silver and gold, silver and gold. So, hope you got to see that cartoon this year. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And, Mormons just don't get it. When people say that, hey, the church shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that, the Book of Mormon is not an ancient history, or it's not a translation from Egyptian documents, or it contains plagiarism of this, that, and the other book back in Joseph Smith's time period. You don't say that we're wrong because we found the truth. You can actually compare the texts. You can say, okay, this says this, Book of Mormon says this. Lots of Mormons are school teachers in this valley. You know how to spot plagiarism. So why aren't you doing it with the Book of Mormon? Scientists, you know science. You have to use science at work. So why aren't you applying the same principles that you do at work with your study of the Book of Mormon? Study of the Book of Abraham. That's what I did. I knew that if I was going to find out if the Book of Abraham was a correct translation, I knew that I didn't go to scholars at BYU. I didn't go to scholars in Egypt or Egyptologists. I knew I had to go to the Egyptian documents, so that I needed to learn Egyptian. So I studied Egyptian. I learned it. And then made discoveries. Hey, Egyptologists, why aren't you putting these glyph pictures in the sign list? You're only putting the text pictures in the sign list. See, for example, the 2 eyes of Horus. They're not in Egyptian or Gardner's Egyptian grammar. Look for it. I dare you to find it. Please point it out to me if you find it. It's not there. He did not put it there. Because the 2 eyes of Horus are never put in text. They're always in glyph form. But you have to translate it. And so Bill Manley, his book, sign lists and how to read Egyptian. Great book. Yeah, I think it might be accessible. Let me pause and I'll show you. Okay, it wasn't as easily as accessible as I thought, but this book right here, Bill Manley, Hieroglyphs, How to Read Egyptian. He has it in his sign list. But do I just automatically trust him? No, I have to, fact check him. How do you fact check him? How do you know anything? Research. So, but yes, he's not Catholic Christian, at least he doesn't appear to be, because the Greek lexicon, not Driver and Briggs, that's the Hebrew. I can't remember the guys who did the Greek lexicon, and it's not Thayer's Greek lexicon, it's the other bigger one. In theirs, you can tell in their definitions of Greek words that they're using the Catholic interpretation and translations. Excuse me. And so when I study a Greek word, I can refer to them, but I have to fact check them when I spot a Catholic bias. And so yeah, I have to have an actual Greek dictionary, origin Greek, rather than a modern Greek that sticks to the New Testament definitions. And so, yeah, people don't understand that. So that's all part of the research. And so when I come out and say, hey, Joseph Smith plagiarized the Book of Mormon, it's not a translation of ancient Egyptian, but then I come out and say, hey, Joseph's translation of the Book of Abraham is legitimate. It's not 100% accurate, it's not 100% translated, but what he does have has merit. And how can I say that? It's not from a Mormon bias, as one particular guy can't get through his head on somebody else's site that was talking about the Book of Abraham. It doesn't make any sense. I try to get through to him. The Torah, it's called the 5 Books of Moses. The author, who was post-captivity Jew, not Moses, he wrote it, and he attributed the book to Moses. So this guy on this other channel, he's saying, Joseph Smith said that this was the actual writing of Abraham. And so I try to explain it to him. The author of the books of Moses claims that Moses is the author. He's not. This post-captivity Jew author is. And he can't make the connection. He thinks that I've got a Mormon bias, and it's just hilarious. And it's just sad, because he's a critic of the church, but yet he can't see that I'm also a critic of the church. And he can't accept that Joseph Smith could possibly be right on anything. And so he's the reverse. He's not Mormon, because Mormons refuse to accept anything negative, anything critical, anything that accuses them of wrongdoing. They will not accept it, no matter how true it is. And this guy, he's not Mormon, and he is the opposite. He refuses to accept that there could be any shred of truth to anything that Joseph Smith did. And yes, people are like that regarding other things of Joseph Smith, which was actually done by Brigham Young. People are furious with Joseph Smith that he would dare have sex with a 14-year-old housekeeper. He didn't do it. They're upset that he would dare marry other men's wives He didn't do it. Brigham Young set him up. People just don't get it. They refuse to accept anything that goes against it. And yes, I know, the gospel topic essays, the church says, yeah, Joseph Smith was guilty, not Brigham Young, nope, not Brigham Young, nope, nope, nope. Yeah, they're lying. The church is still lying. And people don't get it. And so they attack me. It's just the most bizarre thing in the universe that Mormons are refusing to listen to the truth and non-Mormons are refusing to listen to the truth. I don't understand. And so yeah, that Raquel girl, she just didn't understand it. You know, I was pointing out facts. People are putting thumbs down. Mormons are putting thumbs down on my channels. So then she attacks me, saying, we Mormons allow freedom of speech. We don't ban it. She doesn't get it. I'm a witness that Mormons are doing it, and she thinks she can speak for all Mormons. You can't do that. She doesn't speak for me. I'm still technically a Mormon. She's clueless. You know, it's like the little girl in institute class in the younger singles ward that I attended shortly after my divorce, first divorce, and the teacher was talking about a gospel topic about keeping the inner vessel clean. And so I thought, oh, hey, our bodies are temples. Why not talk about this concept in a metaphoric usage, a symbolic usage of the temple? I went to the Jordan River Temple every single day. I was aware that there was a virus in the grass. There were splotches throughout the grass of this bacterial virus or whatever that was destroying the grass. And, you know, I knew the landscaper. I was familiar with her. And I knew that she was doing treatments for it to take care of the matter. But the fact remains, there was a bacteria on the grass that was destroying the grass in these circular patches. And so I brought it up. You know, hey, the Jordan River Temple has these bacterial patches, but that's not the important thing. And I was going to start talking about what goes on in the temple, the rituals that go on in the temple, are what is important, not the outward appearance of the temple. It's just like the message of the lesson. You know, it doesn't matter who you look like. What matters is the condition of your heart. Is it pure? Does it not have hatred towards others? So this little girl sitting next to me, or 2 rows over, she gets all upset. I know that groundskeeper. She's my best personal friend, and I know her. She's a good woman. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the grass, bacteria, the message, inner vessel. She was just on a tirade. The whole class was like... And so the teacher had to change topics. Because this little girl used the distraction method. Long before Trump ever emerged on the scene, she used the distraction method to attack me. Unbelievable. So yeah, I know you Mormons. That's why I did the video. I know you Mormons. Mormons, I know you, whatever I titled it. So, yeah, Mormons, get over yourselves. Learn the truth. Seek the truth. Don't seek for seed. Seed does you no good. Seed without fruit is dead. I keep reinforcing that over and over again, because that's the only way you learn, because that's the way you do things with others, by making false accusations over and over and over and over again, hoping that those false accusations will sink into the other person, who will then believe it and then become the false accusations that you accuse them of, making it so that it's no longer a false accusation. And then you feel justified that, hey, see, you were right the whole time. That Travis, I knew he was bad. You know, that's how you guys do it. And that's wrong. That's evil. You can't force people into a false belief. I am not giving you false beliefs. I'm giving you facts and evidence, truth. But since this is how you give, I expect you to be able to take it. Truth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to pacify you. I'm not going to flatter you. I'm not going to deceive you. You will get angry, but that's not me causing that. You are responsible for your anger. Because if all you have is a belief is a feeling. And so when your belief gets threatened, all you have is emotions. And so you react emotionally because your feelings have been attacked. That's what a belief is. It's a feeling. That's why Alma in chapter 32 and 28 says, plant the seed in your heart. It's a feeling. That's what belief is. That's what he's saying. And so if you don't have truth from having planted the word and produced the fruit thereof, and if you don't understand how it works, how are you able to function? You know, you women, for example, you get an idea of what you're going to wear that day. And so you have it all set out the night before. It's all color coordinated. It's all cute, and it's designed to, you know, impress the girls, because you don't trust a guy's opinion on how you look. You always want a girl's opinion on how you look. And so then you model yourself in front of your girlfriends the next day, and you expect them to respond, oh, you look awesome, that's great, oh, that dress makes you, oh, wow. And then you're reinforced that you did the right thing from your inspiration. Now, that's really not how it's supposed to work, because all they're doing is reinforcing your original idea on how to dress that day. But if you're in a position, a job, you have to get inspiration as to how to do your job. If you're just doing manual labor, you don't have inspiration to lead and guide you, walk beside you, help you find the way. Catching on to that? You know, but if you're an architect, I'm sure there might be Mormon women who are architects. You know, men are architects. I went into architectural design at Rick's, realized, oh, they're studying computer technology. I failed computer class in high school and made it into a C grade for the whole class with the driver's ed class, getting the A+ in that. So, yeah, computers, I knew that I couldn't get involved in architectural design because they were going the way of the computer. If I'd known that they would have had the computer program for architectural design, like I have now, I would have said, okay, I'll continue with it, but it doesn't utilize my artistic skills, which was why I was pursuing it. And so, yeah, you guys know you have to get inspiration. If the company provides you with the blueprint, and then you have to design it according to their specifications, that doesn't really require inspiration. But if you get to use your inspiration to design an actual building and turn it into blueprints, the blueprints are the fruit. The word is the inspiration. It's that simple. It's not complicated. So, the Book of Mormon, it's full of words. It's got bad words, layman, the Antichrist, Gadianton robbers, King Noah and his priests. Those are some bad words. They're not four-letter words. They're bad. And then there are some good words. You're supposed to follow the examples of the good words. The words of Nephi, the words of Abinadi, the words of Alma, words of Jesus, even though they're plagiarized from the New Testament. The 1769 version of the King James Bible, guys. Gotta do your research. The passage in the Book of Mormon is slightly different from the King James Version. That means that the King James Version was translated correctly. Article of Faith number 8 is wrong. Yeah. Joseph Smith said the Book of Mormon, or the Bible, is not translated correctly. Section 91 talks about the Apocrypha being translated correctly. Where's the Apocrypha? He said, that one, I'm not going to bother changing because it's fine. The rest of the Bible, he changed. So Mormons, come on. You guys get upset when people call you sheep. I'm sorry, but you're not proving otherwise. And so, yes, you'll see this picture right here. It's a widow whammy, so cute, but he's being chomped on by a cute little wolf. I saw that picture. I had to have it. This has a meme attached to it that I made. I think it's available for free on my website. You just look in the store section, scroll down to memes. It should be there. It's a free download. I'm not sure which blog post it's in, because otherwise you could just go to the blog post, right-click on it, and then save as to whatever file on your computer. That's the other option. And so it doesn't matter. It's a free meme. Should be. I'm pretty sure I didn't charge for it. Pretty sure. I think I started to charge for audiobooks that I was starting to come out with, and it was supposed to be for donation purposes, but I gave up on that. There might still be remnants of it, so don't worry about that. So yeah, if it costs you, let me know, and I'll make the change so that you can get it for free. So yeah, that's a cute widow whammy. So yeah, don't be sheep. All ye like sheep. Don't be sheep. Be wise as a serpent, yet innocent as a lamb. That's the intention. You're not supposed to be guilty as a serpent and wise as a lamb or something like that. So, all right, this is 45 minutes. Didn't intend it to be, but oh well. So, yeah, you can't attack people just because you only have a belief, Mormons. A belief is not knowledge. So quit saying you know Jesus Christ lives. You have not seen him in the flesh. So cut it out. You do not know the Book of Mormon is true, because it's not true. It is not a translation of Egyptian documents. It is not a history of the American Indians. It is a plagiarized work. But if you're going to talk about the precepts of the prophets being true, you can say that, but say it. Say it specifically. That's what a testimony is all about. What you have come to know. by exercising faith in a specific word. And we don't do that in the church. We give travelogues, we give thankimonies, we give rote testimonies, just like the Rameumptom. So cut it out. You know, you're supposed to be saying, I know that Alma chapter 32 verse 28's process on how to turn faith in the word into knowledge of truth. I know it's true, and I put to the test Moroni chapter 7 verse 13, you know, whatever, and I did this work to replicate it, and as a result this happened. That's a testimony. You don't go and say, I read the Book of Mormon and I felt with every fiber of my being that it was true. That's not a testimony. That's you saying that, hey, the Spirit revealed something to you, but you did nothing with it. And so you're going to go to heaven and you're going to say, Lord, Lord, have I not prophesied in thy name? Have I not done many mighty works? And the Lord will say to you, get thee hence, I know you not. That's why you haven't turned yourself into a being of light, intelligence. You have held on to the seed. You've held on to the talent. You did not invest in it and produce more of the talents. The talent is not talents. It was money talent. So, you know, figure it out. Study. Make 2 and 2 connections. So, we're going on an hour now. All right. So, I just wanted to get that off my chest. So, quit attacking people, Mormons. Leave critics alone. They're trying to help you.